they are going to be constituting marketing. What is the meaning of marketing? It is identification of needs and finding ways and means to satisfy those needs. Definition of marketing given by Philip Kotler was: it is a social process in which individuals and groups obtain what they need and want by creating offerings and exchanging goods of value to others. Features from this definition, these features have come into being. Which are those? Fulfilling needs and wants, creating market offering, customer value, and exchange mechanism. You should be knowing what is to be written in all this. We have already discussed in detail. Then we have talked about what can be marketed. Anything which is of value to others can be marketed. It can be, we know, it can be a product and service. We have been knowing about it, but it can be place, it can be idea, it can be a person also, which can be marketed. Then we had talked about the philosophies or the concept of marketing management, which are production concept was first. The main focus was on availability and affordability of the product, but that was not enough. People started focusing on product philosophy, that is on the quality, features, style of the product, but that was also not enough. Then came selling philosophy or selling concept, where people were to be lured and attracted, and there was aggressive selling techniques required in order to sell the product, but by hook or by crook. But that was not a long term, could not subside for sustain for long. Marketing philosophy came where there was the concept was to understand the needs of the people and then produce the goods and make sure the needs and wants are satisfied. You take the feedback from the people and do all these things on profit. That becomes the pillars of marketing also. But then marketing was not enough. These days, it is very important that when you are producing goods and providing it to the society, it should be satisfying social needs also. So ecological, ethical concepts are also to be taken in view while studying the needs and producing the goods. So which are, but we need to talk in detail about marketing. So pillars of marketing came into being: identification of target market. I hope these technical words are clear. If they're not clear, you can always ask children. I am repeating. I think that when I'm repeating, must be becoming clear. What is target market? That is the market for which you will be producing the goods. Where are they? Who are they? So you identify the target market, you understand what they need and want, and then you start producing the good for them and ensure that they are satisfied with the product which you have produced. Then it goes into the market, and everything is to be done at profit. Then we had talked about marketing mix. When the word marketing mix comes, it means it is a combination of four variable: product, price, place, and promotion. Place is also known as physical distribution. We started with product mix. We said product mix comprises of three basic elements. They are branding, packaging, and labeling. So these three contents are there of product mix. Then we have talked about branding. What all we studied in branding, the what is a brand? Brand is, when you talk about generally what is branding, it can be a name, it can be a symbol, design, which is going to help you identify the product. Okay, the company, the product, the brand, that is branding. What are the terms we have studied? Branding, that is brand. We have talked about brand name. What is a brand name, children? Brand name is that part of the brand which can be spoken, which is utterable, okay, which can be, we can speak. That is brand name. What is brand mark? Brand mark is a symbol, a mark which cannot be spoken, but it can be identified. What is trademark? Trademark is a mark which is, which is being given legal protection. That is, it is registered under law, that becomes a trademark. Then what are the qualities of a good brand name or branding? Your brand name should be short and simple. It should be suggestive. It should have it should be distinct from the competitor's product name. It should have a staying power. It should not become outdated or obsolete. It should be versatile. It should be adaptable to the changing things, that is advertisement and packaging and all, and it should be protected legally. So these qualities should be there. If it is being asked that you being a marketing manager, you have to decide about the brand name of the product. So what things will you keep in mind? So these are the things you will keep in mind. These features you'll keep in mind. So that was the qualities of branding. Now, branding is considered to be advantageous to both the parties. Now, which are those two parties, children? One is the marketer and second is the customer. For the marketer, it is considered to be important. Why? Because he will be able to make his product different from or differentiate from the competitor's product. So first thing, he is going to enjoy this, that his product is totally different from the competitor's product. Second is, it is going to help him to do advertisement. Otherwise, doing advertisement in a generic name would have been very difficult, and that will not give the identification. How will the people able to identify your product as a marketer? How will you make people understand this is my product? We gave the example of a fan or a pen. So it helps in advertising and display program. Wherever you're putting your ad, hoardings or newspaper or radio, you speak out the brand name and people become aware. So it helps in advertising and display program. It helps the marketer when he knows that people have become, they are loyal towards the brand. He can even charge higher price. So differential pricing is possible. It is also easy for him not to add more cost for marketing, for promotion of the product, because he can just add on the product under that umbrella brand he has created, the name he has created. So that is umbrella branding can be done. I gave you the example of electronics. LG and Samsung and Sony, all these are examples of umbrella branding. So it becomes easy for the marketer to introduce the product. But as a customer, if I am going into the market as a customer, what is the benefit for me when I see a branded product? First thing is, I'll be able to identify my product very easily from the name, isn't it? I'll see the name and I'll pick up the product. And second is, it is going to ensure quality. We know, we are going to be confident and that we are buying this product. We know that quality which we are buying, with the brand which we are buying, it is going to come with the quality. And then status symbol, it is going to help us to have acceptance by the society in which we are moving. If we are using a particular brand, we are using branded products. So that is, it adds to a status symbol. Now, listen carefully. There is a blank slide I have put up just to make an important announcement. Your syllabus for Monday's test is going to be up till here. That is up to advantages of branding. Fine. Whatever has been covered. So for this chapter, so business environment plus till branding, whatever has been covered in marketing chapter, whatever has been covered till branding. So till here is your syllabus for your test, which is on Monday. Fine. Now, after this, we had talked about packaging. We talked about the packaging. What is packaging? Packaging is the outer covering. It is a wrapper or a container which is going to provide protection to the product. Then we have talked about levels. How many levels are there in packaging? 3 levels. Which are those 3 levels? Primary level, which is the immediate container. Second is the secondary level, which is above the primary package. And the third one is, which is going to help store and transfer the goods from one place to another, that is transportation packaging. The children tend to, write down or speak in one sync, primary, secondary, tertiary. No, it is going to be completely wrong. So please make sure when levels are being asked of packaging, it is going to be primary, secondary, and transportation packaging. Fine. We also talked about the functions of packaging. What are the functions being performed? It helps in product identification. It helps to protect the product. It is going to facilitate the use of the product and is going to help us do advertisement, that is promotion of the product. We were giving a mug free along with the Nescafe bottle. We saw that ad. So it is going to act as a help in product promotion. So it acts as a silent salesman. We said this. Yesterday, we talked about the importance also, along with the functions, we are also talking about the importance of packaging. Why packaging is important? We said that because of the rising standard and health sanitation, the packaging is considered to be very important. We are not ready to take up open, loose things. And because of the self-service outlet also these days, it is not possible that there are so many people to, in the malls or in big shops, you are going to cater to each and every customer. These days, self-service outlets are there. So packaging itself is going to act as a salesman. So it is becoming important these days because of self-service outlets. Innovational opportunities are going to be provided. That is, we see these days the things have changed. From the packaging has changed from the glass bottle to pet bottles, from pet bottles to tetra packs. So we are getting so many things, and they are going to be stocked for a for a long period of time. So this is innovation opportunities are also being provided with the help of packaging. So it provides innovation opportunities, that is marketer can think out of the box and new things, how this product can be kept stored in its original form for a longer time. Product differentiation is possible from by packaging. From the packets itself, people can identify the product from a long distance, and they can differentiate between the product they want and the competitor's product. So these are the importance. This is the importance of packaging. We also talked about labeling yesterday. Labeling is what, children? The second part of product mix is third part of the product mix is after branding and packaging. Labeling is what, children? It is something which is going to provide you information about the product, and these labels are being made on the package. So over packaging, the information which is being provided, details like manufacturing date, like expiry date, like contents inside, like weight of the product and nutritional facts of the product, barcodes, all these are part of labeling. So labeling is what? It is information which is being provided on the package telling about the product. The label, it is going to be very simple or it is going to be very complex. Graphics are going, it can be very simple, it can be complex, but anything which is providing any kind of information, when the brand is also being mentioned on the package, that becomes a label. Through the label only you are going to tell that what is the brand. So anything which is printed on the product, that becomes a label. Children, we also talked about the functions of labeling. Which were those functions? The first one was that it describes the product and specifies its contents. Yes, it tells you that what is there inside, but it also, the first thing it tells is, it helps you to identify the product. So first is, even though it's written the other ways, but it tells to identify the product, and it is also going to describe the product and the contents which are contained in the product under the package. What is there inside? So that is being mentioned in the label. Then what is grading also is going to be done? Grading. Now this word grading means that you are able, even though the brand is same for different products, but the grading is being done. The different purpose, each part is being, it is fulfilling, that is going to be mentioned. That the example of shampoos and talcum powders and tea, you can see, if you see that red label, yellow label, green label, these are different grades of tea which you get. So you are able to identify through these labels only. Packaging is fine, but then over the information which is being packaging is almost same. It is only the labels which are changing. So labels help in grading. Right? You should be very clear what is the function being done by a package and what is the function being done by a label. So that should not be confused. Very clear, view you should have of packaging and labeling. Then it is going to promote the sale through labels. You can tell that there is something extra, something free is being given, the quantity is increased but the price is going to be same. You're giving a toothbrush along with the paste, you're mentioning it above. So that is going to promote the sale, which is going to excite the customer to buy more that particular product which is under a scheme. So that scheme is being mentioned through the label on the pack. Fine. So it helps to promote the sales. Providing information by law, anything which the government wants, it should be portrayed or it should be there on the product before it is being used. The customer should read it. That warnings, statutory warnings, that should be mentioned. Then it can be the marketer is going to put it up through the label. So label provides information required by law. Now, we are going to talk about the second P, which is price. Let me tell you one thing, children, when we talk about price, before I start with pricing, the children who enter late into the class, their names are reflected. We are seeing the children who are entering late into the class, their names are reflected, and we come to know the timings for which you have been there in the class. Please make sure you are there from the starting till the end. Otherwise, it's putting a very bad impression, coming late and leaving early. Don't think this is technology. If it is beneficial for you, it is beneficial for us also. A check can be kept. We will tell you the children who are there for the minimum time. Okay, let's start with price mix. That is our second P. The first P in marketing mix was product mix, in which we had talked about branding, packaging, labeling. Now we come to our second P, that is pricing. We are not doing any functions on the importance of pricing. We will only talk about factors, and that makes it important because this is the things you will keep in mind while fixing the price of the product. But what is a price? Price is something, some consideration which is being paid by the buyer in consideration of the goods or the services taken. So price is what it is, what you pay. It's an amount. It is or in monetary consideration. You're paying something. Paying, who is paying it? The buyer is paying it. And for what? For the product or the service he is taking. That is a price. Now, when you say price, it is the regulator of demand. Now you have to be very attentive. It is the regulator of demand. It regulates demand. If the prices are high, the demand will reduce. If you're making your products costly, the demand of the product is going to go down. So that is why it is said that they are regulator of the demand of the product. Anshul Joshi. Next is, it is considered as an effective weapon during stiff competition. This is the explanation of price mix. It is an effective weapon when there is competition is very high. What you can do, you can play this with the price. The moment you're going to reduce the price, say with some amount, 5 or 10 rupees, immediately the demand of your product is going to go up. So it is considered to be a very important weapon, children, during stiff competition. It affects revenue and profits. The price you are charging and the people are paying that price to you. So it is actually generating revenue for the marketer. So it is going to bring profits and revenue for the marketers. It is the price. When we are making the product, we are just paying. It is expenses. But when we quote the price and we charge it, what we get is revenue or profits. So that is price. Starting with the most important part, factors affecting price determination. Any question related to price, if it is coming, it has to be related to factors only, because there is nothing else. So each factors should be imbibed in your mind very strongly. It should be running in your blood, each and every factor. Which are the factors? It is product cost, utility and demand, extent of competition in the market, government and legal regulations, pricing objectives, and marketing methods used. I know you'll not be able to understand what is it. We are going to start with the first factor for price determination. What is that? First is product cost. Now listen, children. When we produce a good, we are going to, bear an expense. That is, we are going to use raw material, we are going to use labor, we are going to use machinery, we are going to pay the rent, we are going to pay the electricity bill. When we total all these costs, that becomes, and divided with the number of the units produced, it becomes a per unit cost. Now that per unit cost, it is the cost. You have to add some margin or profits to give it the name of a price. So cost is what has been the total expense in-house to produce that good. Are you getting me? So a clear demarcation between cost and price. So when you are, first thing is, you are going to determine the price depending upon what is the cost. And when you say your cost that you have expenses you are paying, there are three types of costs which are there. One is fixed cost plus variable cost plus semi-variable cost. That is going to give you the total cost. Now, when you say fixed cost, now one thing more before I tell this, the cost is whatever cost is there that tells you the floor price you can keep of your product. You can never quote a price below the cost, because that is what you have paid. That money has gone out of your pockets. You cannot charge the price lesser than the cost. So this total cost is going to determine the floor price, the minimum price you will quote for the product, the marketer. But what will determine the cost? All these things you are seeing, fixed cost, variable cost, semi-variable cost. What is this? You'll ask, ma'am, what is it? Fixed cost means, children, that whether the production is taking place or not, this cost is prone to happen. Whether in your factory the production is taking place or not, you have to pay the rent. Whether the production is taking place or not, you have to pay the salaries to your people. So this cost is not going to change even though the production might be changing. So that is a fixed cost. So what is a fixed cost? Which will not change, which will not vary, which will not change with the change in the production quantity. Whether you produce or you don't produce, you produce less or you produce more, that is going to remain same. Variable cost. Variable cost means which varies, it is going to change. Like if you are not producing more, you don't need much of raw material. Raw material usage is going to be less. So your variable cost comprising of raw material or labor, because the production is less, the amount of labor required is also going to be less. So variable cost is going to vary, but fixed cost will not vary. Third thing is semi-variable cost. Semi-variable cost means that it is sum total. It is the sum total of fixed and variable cost. Your basic salary, your basic pay is fixed. You will be paid 10,000 by the company. But if you are able to crack some extra, you are going to bring some extra case being a salesman, for every one extra product you are selling, you will be given some incentive. So half of the thing is your 10,000 salary is fixed, but your incentive which you're going to get, that is going to vary depending upon what extra selling you are doing. So that becomes a semi-variable cost. Now the crux is the total cost is determined by the sum total of fixed cost plus variable cost plus semi-variable cost. That determines your total cost. So you're going to fix the price something above this. You're going to fix the price which is something above this. So total cost, it is the minimum level or the floor price at which the product can be sold. So the first factor says when you fix the price of a product, make sure you are covering up your cost. So what is the first factor? That if you are a marketer and you have to fix the price of the product, what first thing should come in your mind? That you will be covering up the product cost. Okay, so product cost is determined by this equation. Fixed cost plus variable, semi-variable cost, and it is the minimum level or the floor price which a marketer will charge. Okay, so now we move on to the second factor. Utility and demand. See, these are two different words, utility and demand. Utility means, you remember, we said utility means the amount of satisfaction you're going to get for the product. If you are paying something for the product, what you're getting in return. If the product should be justifying value, you remember the value and utility. The person should be able to get that much of satisfaction, that much of value, that much of utility as compared to the price he is going to pay. We are coming back to price now. Huh? I'm not using the word cost. Is it clear? So first thing is you will take care of utility. And this is going to tell you the more the utility you're going to provide with your product, the higher price you can quote. So the cost factor, that was telling you the minimum limit, and utility is telling you the upper limit you can quote. So utility is the satisfaction which the buyer is ready to pay up to a point where he knows till that he is going to get equal amount of equal amount of satisfaction as compared to the sacrifice he has made in the form of money. Fine. So utility is this. Got it? So a person expects that that the marketer charges that much of price as compared to the utility or the value or the satisfaction which a person derives. I don't have any problem in paying 3 rupees for a pencil because I feel that is that much of utility I am deriving from that pencil, or a 5 rupee pencil. But I'll not be ready to pay a 50 rupee for a pencil because that much of satisfaction or value I'm not getting. So you can put that much of price which is going to give that much of satisfaction. The second thing is demand. Now when you will explain demand, it is related to elasticity of demand. Again, listen carefully, children. What is elasticity of demand? It says that with the change in price, if your demand changes, it means the demand is elastic. Elastic can change. You can pull it and you can leave it and it is going to increase and decrease. That is elastic. So they say that it depends upon the elasticity of the demand. Elasticity of demand means that if your demand is elastic, it is going to change with the change in price. If a Coke bottle is coming for, I don't know how much it is coming for, maybe 20, say 35 rupees, and you say, and Coke says that now it is going to be offered in a smaller version, and that is going to be for 10 rupees. Or for that matter, say 30 rupees, the same quantity. You will see the demand is going to be very high. Why? Because the prices have gone down and that demand is elastic. So a small change, if it is there in the price, what will happen? There is going to be a large change in the quantity demanded. If it is like this in your product case, if your product has an elastic demand, be very careful about the price you are quoting. But if it is inelastic, that is, it is not going to change with the, it is not going to change with the change in the, price. You go to a hair salon and you say to your hairdresser that you want to get a haircut, and he says, sir, I have been charging 200 rupees. Now I have increased it to 300 rupees. You see, you want to get a haircut or not? You said, of course, I just like your haircut, from your salon. I'll not go anywhere. The demand is not going to change. And that hairdresser knows about it. So what he is going to do, he can increase the price, because he knows that with the rise in price, the quantity demanded is not going to change. Is it clear? So elastic demand depends. You see, first thing is utility. Is your product providing that much of utility? Is it providing that much of satisfaction? Is it providing that much of value? Then you charge the price accordingly. Second thing is, the demand of your product is elastic or inelastic. If it is elastic, then you have to be very careful of fixing the price. Small change in the price is going to bring a big change in the demand. But if it is inelastic, it is not going to change. People are so much into your product and they're ready to pay, but they will not change your product. They will buy your product only. Then you quote the price as you want. Okay, so it is, your upper limit, how much you think you can charge, you charge, because the demand of your product is inelastic. So you should know what kind of a product your product is falling into, which category, whether it is having elastic demand or inelastic demand. Okay. The third factor is extent of competition. Easy one now. The opposite of competition is monopoly. If you have competition in the market, what are you going to do? You're going to keep your price low. If you know, because the moment whatever price you are giving the product for, the competitor reduces the price, the demand is going to be of the competitor's product. So if the competition is high, you'll keep the prices low. So, but if there is no competition, if there is monopoly means you are the only player in the market, sole, or a few players, you can, whatever price you quote, people have, if somebody comes out with a sanitizer and says that, this is, wherever you use 100%, these germs are going to go off, this virus is not going to enter that place. You see the amount of demand which it is going to have, because that marketer is going to have the monopoly. A new thing has come into the market. So if there is a monopoly in the market, there is no competitor, then you have the freedom to fix the price as you want. But if there is competition in the market, the price must be kept low as compared to the competitor. So please keep in mind what the competitor's price is. So if the competition is high, the prices will be on the lower side. But if the competition is not there or low competition, you can quote the price high. So if you see the competition, can you see this diagram? If the competition is reducing, the price can increase. Fine. So it is the extent of competition. Okay. More competition is rising, the prices have to come down. So how you're going to keep your price depending upon the competition? More competition, less price, inversely related. Less competition, high prices. So it is inversely related, not directly. Okay. Then fourth point is government and legal regulations. When you say this, see children, as a marketer, you are producing the goods and bringing it into the market. But the government says that there are certain things on which it puts a cap. It says that you cannot have prices high in these things, in sugar, in petrol, or the things which you get on the ration shops, medicines or petrol. There is a cap, that you cannot charge higher than this. So government declares certain goods as essential commodities. Certain medicines like Disprin and all, which that people require very frequently, they cannot have a higher price. It has to be sold for 10, 15, 20 rupees only. Why? Because government says that you cannot sell it for a higher price. So if you're dealing in such a product where government regulations are there, you have to honor what the price is laid down by the government. So government is regulating or controlling the price of that product in which you are dealing. So you don't have much control over pricing. Government is going to tell you that how much price you can quote. So in India, the government controls the price of certain products such as edible oil, sugar, medicine, petrol. So according to the public interest. So certain goods they are declared as essential goods. So the government is going to fix the prices for such products. Is it clear? So in that case, how much price you will quote? It depends upon the government, not on you. So because these goods are declared as essential commodities, necessity goods. So you are not in the position to quote a very high price for the sugar you're dealing or the medicine you're dealing. It depends if you're dealing in any of these commodities and it has been declared as essential good. So you cannot quote the prices as you wish. It has to go according to the government's regulations, rules. Okay. Then next is, what is your pricing objective? Now this is very important. Listen carefully. You might get a little confused. What is your objective of fixing a price? First tell me. You are fixing a higher price. What is the objective behind it? So what can be the objectives of an organization? Let's see. First thing is profit maximization. If your main motive is to maximize profit in a short run, then please write it down somewhere, children. Please maintain notes side by side. If you think, or in the book, somewhere write it down. If you're looking for higher profits in a shorter span of time, you have to quote higher prices. But if you want for a longer time, you want to stay, and nothing matters if the profits are coming slowly, then you can keep your profits or your prices low. So it depends upon, first thing is, how quickly you want to earn profits. So if you want to earn profits in a short span, you'll keep the prices high and immediately, the whatever you're earning, it is your profits you're earning, but it is not going to be for long run. It depends how much time you want profits. But if for long run, if you want profits, then you have to keep your prices low so that you can capture the market. But your main aim is profit maximization. So you can quote your prices high. Second thing is, profit is not the objective. Objective is you want to be a market leader. You want to control the market and you want to be the king of that market, that you are the main marketeer in your product sells the maximum. In that case, you are going to keep your prices low so that people leave the competitor's product and buy your product. So in this case, in second case, you're going to keep the prices low. Then only you are going to be able to obtain the market share leadership. Fine. Third is, you want a survival or an entry into a competitive market is there, and you want to enter into that market. You also have come along with the competitors. There are so many, that market is known for those people only the same product they're dealing in as you are dealing. Now you want an entry into the market. If you're coming with a price which is higher than the competitor's product, you can never get an entry into this. Now it is, so survival, if you want in a competitive market, you need to keep your prices low, right? Then is attaining product quality leadership. If you want to maintain a quality, you want that your product should be known for higher cream segment. For cream segment, the product is produced and you are putting in the best of raw material, the best of workmanship has been put in your product. In that case, you have spent so much. So your product quality, if your quality is high, then in that case, you have to keep your prices high because you have spent so much in making that product of a higher quality. So attaining product quality, if that is your motive, in that case, you are going to keep your prices high because you want to cover up the cost, right? That has to be done. We cannot cross the floor price. So you can keep the price high because you want the people to know for quality. You say, I'm charging high because I'm giving quality, right? So these are, what is your objective? You want maximum profit in short span. You want to have maximum share of the market. You want to be the king of the market. You need to keep the prices low. Profit maximization, can keep the prices high. You want to survive in the competition, you have to keep the prices low. And if you want to maintain a quality leadership, in that case, and your quality is the best, your product quality is best, in that case, you're going to keep the prices high to cover up the cost. Is it clear? Then we come to the last factor, which is marketing methods used. How aggressive you have been, what kind of marketing methods you have used being a marketer. Are you using, a lot of money is being spent on advertisement, on distribution system. You know what is distribution system? This, from manufacturer to agent to wholesaler, retailer, you're spending money on this, or you're paying a lot to the salesmen, and you're employing very, very educated and very skilled and very experienced. You need to pay these people high, or the product which you are offering into the market, that is very costly because the packaging is so beautiful and it is a very costly package. So if you're using such kind of marketing methods, or you're using very strong, aggressive advertisements you're doing, or sales promotion you're doing, and you're spending so much of money on that, automatically your prices which you're going to charge is going to be high. If a person is providing you goods for home delivery, that person is going to pay that person, that salesman who is going to come and deliver the goods at your place. He is going to charge a higher price, even though he might be saying it's a free home delivery, but he will charge the price, he'll take it out from the margins. So it depends upon the marketing methods you are using, that what kind of how much price you are going to quote for your product. So these are the factors to be taken into consideration. Is it clear? Okay, children, this is the self-check. I think so I didn't come to know about the time. Just quickly take a pick of this, choose the correct option, revise nicely price, even though we are going to take it up later. Please, quickly, children, you take a snapshot of this. This is from whatever we have covered. There is one more question along with this, which is the next question. I'm going to put it up for you. This is the match the following. One question I have put extra. You can see in this. You can take a snapshot. And I want a good number of children to participate in this. It does not take me, even though it's a lot of efforts from my side also, I'm putting up that slides for you, sitting and making slides and finding out how many times you have answered. You can take a snapshot again, please. Both the things, I'm putting it up, and I want a good response. Children, that shows your attentiveness. And this prize one, I said that it is going to be important. Please make sure. Okay, I hope you have taken the snapshot. Thank you, children. God bless you all, and all stay safe. Thank you.